struggling, New York football is surging.
It really is. That's what you have to look for. Hey, Yankee fan and Met fans, you got hopes with the Jets and the Giants. And we begin hour number 2 of Get Up with Orlovsky and Schfter and Tannenbaum, and some potentially big news in this developing story out of Philadelphia. And we hate to see it, but an injury during practice, that is outstanding guard Landon Dickerson. You saw him being helped off the practice field, putting no weight on it. Then you see him being taken off there on the cart, riding shotgun, not in the back. Read into everything. Schefty, what do we know?
Philadelphia is holding its breath today, Greeny. Landon Dickerson carted off last night. Now, he was listed on the injury report Saturday with a knee injury. He went down last night with a knee injury, could barely get off the field on his own. Obviously, his teammates took a knee. There seemed to be a tremendous amount of concern on his fellow teammates, with his fellow teammates. He is set to undergo an MRI today that will tell the story about if and when he will miss time. We'll see what the MRI results show today. Obviously, not what you want for your star guard. That would be a blow to the Eagles' offensive line if they're without him for any extended period of time.
Critical, right? Critical.
Huge. I mean, this is the strength of this football team. It has Super Bowl repeat impact. That's not being dramatic. He's one of the best guards in football. Saquon Barkley ran basically untouched for about 500 yards behind directly of Landon Dickerson. And if you think about Mekhi Becton, who left to go to the Chargers, and then Kelsey, I know Cam Jennings replaced Kelsey, but that's the interior of that offensive line in 2 years could be dramatically different than what it was. They won the Super Bowl without Kelsey last year. But this is a big deal.
I agree. Just add to that, Kenyon Green, who they acquired in the Gardner-Johnson trade, he went out with an injury. We don't know how bad that is. So when you have multiple injuries at the same position, potentially they could be on their fourth guard, which is far from ideal in August.
It's not just the run game either. I mean, if we just go back to last year directly with Jalen Hurts, one of the things that Jalen did not do a good job of last year was that handling of the pocket, sometimes leaving it too much. He doesn't necessarily throw the middle of the field a ton because of vision. So if that internal part of the pocket is even weaker than it could have been, not only will it be impacting the run game, it'll also be impacting the protection.
Look, football is a game where, generally speaking, the team that wins the championship, among the things you say about them is that they remained, for the most part, healthy. Now, it's August 11th. Maybe this won't be an incredibly bad injury, but it's an incredibly important player for Philadelphia, a team that obviously has Super Bowl aspirations. Meanwhile, we got first impressions of a lot of other players over the weekend. Dan Orlovsky, what did you see from J.J. McCarthy?
Got through progressions well and was really strong in the pocket with the strong arm. Early on, you get that back free release. Here comes the shallow cross. It's 1-2. Good job by J.J. McCarthy. Doing all this without Justin Jefferson. Under center, play action. Muddy feet. Defender there. You still have to drive the ball on that deep 18 to 22 yard out. The athleticism of using his legs. On fourth down, Kevin O'Connell goes for it. He becomes a runner. The arm strength is there, so you want to see him just have some of those, maybe a fraction sooner touch throws instead of driving everything, but absolutely encouraged.
All right, we also saw Joe Burrow play this week. It goes back to Thursday night, but one way or the other, what did you see?
Flawless. There's no one better in the league right now throwing the football than Joe Burrow. Just absolutely flawless, and I know starters, backups, all that. The ball went exactly where it should on a consistent basis. I heard him say he thinks he's throwing it better right now than he has in years. He threw for like 10,000 yards last season, so that would be somewhat scary for the rest of the conference.
The offense is not the question in Cincinnati.
By the way, I think I've seen enough of Joe Burrow in the preseason that they could shut him down. I know they started slow. They want to get that rust off. Joe Burrow's good. He's ready for the opener.
They got to figure out their defense. I mean, he's not going to be the problem.
He started to look like Tom Brady. If he knows where to go with the ball pre-snap, you can't defend him.
There is a lot of the Brady comparison to be made. In fact, we heard from Brady this weekend, too. You'll hear that coming up in just a few minutes. But, Mike T., let me get then to your first impression from maybe the biggest statement that was made this weekend by Shedeur Sanders.
He has earned the right to take more meaningful reps this week and play next week. And he did it by making throws like this. This is an NFL throw. It's a layered throw in a tight window. It's exactly what we saw in Colorado. Again, Mel Kiper amongst others. We liked them. Surprised they won the 5th round. And what's great about what I saw was all the pre-snap information he handled well. That means he was prepared. He's been studying, and that's the sign of a really good pro.
And isn't that exactly the sort of thing that people said he was good at coming into or coming out of college and coming into the NFL. That's the thing about this evaluation process that I find so frustrating. We've decided, the entire league has decided, we need to find the next Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to go find someone who makes the off-platform throw and can be running this way and throw it back across the other side.
But that stuff matters, though, Greeny. To be great,
if that's what you do well and you can't do the stuff that he does well, then you can't play quarterback in the NFL. We've seen too many guys who do that. Those things have to be like the side dish. That has to be the potatoes and the green beans.
Sure.
The steak has got to be all the stuff that this guy does well.
Totally. And that's why, like, you were encouraged with what you saw in college and why late first round, early second round pick. And then you watched it in the game, you go, that's what it looked like. That's where you have to be so encouraged. I thought he played really fast. I love this clip on third down. 5-man protection. He's going to tell his receiver, you're good, meaning no blitz issues. The safeties are going to rotate. Shedeur has to hold that safety at the top of the screen for a fraction of a second, and then the ball has to come out right now because that window is going to condense with that drop-down safety. If he's a little bit later, that's an interception. It's a tipped ball. Receiver's going to the hospital. This is backed up in his own end zone. Again, tells his receiver, you're good, don't worry about any blitz. It allows them to play faster so he knows what's going on. Sees the safety rotation. He's got a little bit of shuffle in the pocket, and then that ball's coming out. The defender is underneath the receiver, corner-wise, safety over the top. That's a dangerous throw. It's a courageous throw. He drills it right in that in-breaking route. And then the second touchdown is my favorite. He's got a shuffle in the pocket, and he has to see a double post. He sees the safety take the inside post. The outside post is the throw. I love how quick it happens and that it remains a passer. There were times in school, more often than not, I would argue, that he would run around and try to do something that athletically I would say that's not necessarily the strength of your game. So that last clip to me tells me there's a development, an evolution. I thought he was fantastic. I totally agree. He should get meaningful, if not starting reps this week.
A few things. First of all, he passed the eye test. When you watched him on Friday night, you felt like you were watching an NFL quarterback. Now, today, they are out on the practice field right now. And the reason that Shedeur was out there on Friday night to begin with as long as he was is because Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel have been battling hamstring injuries. Both players, Pickett and Dillon Gabriel, are on the practice field today. Kevin Stefanski moments ago said he has not decided yet how the reps will go this week in the second preseason game. And he even said that he may not be prepared to name a starting quarterback after the second week of the preseason. The more indecision that's there, the more that tells you that all options are on the table. But they clearly had to see something from Shedeur on Friday night that I think opened up everybody's eyes. There are a lot of people like Mel Kiper who said this was what we expected to see. But I think the way he played, as effective as he was, as strong as he looked, has to make everybody reconsider things and say this guy's got a chance to play sooner than some people realize.
Yeah, and nothing makes you healthier than when you see your competitor play as well as you did. So also in Kenny Pickett and Dillon Gabriel feeling a little bit better. But look, if we were running the Browns guys, Kenny Pickett's on his third team in 3 years, and I think we know where the ceiling is with him. I think Shedeur is so interesting because of his arm strength and his ability from the pocket. As you said, Greeny, his stake is really solid. And if I'm the Browns, I want to see more and more of it, and he's earned that.
One of the reasons why I chose some of those clips was, for me, the communication that he showed and the understanding pre-snap was a massive deal. And then also how he operated post-snap and executed. And for everybody at home to truly understand, like when we talk about you want to see them go and operate, that's a big deal. Because in practice, it really doesn't matter because there's no real consequence. Like for him to make that aggressive throw on that touchdown, if he throws an interception in practice, he throws an interception in practice. If he throws an interception in game, it's different. That's an aggressive throw. That's, I would call you a gutsy throw, a cojones type of throw. So to do it in a game, that's a big deal. The second touchdown in practice, you can't get touched. In a game, he's got to get that little shuffle and that ball's got to come out. So that's why, like, I agree with Mike T. When you just watch them operate pre-snap, it looked to me like
He belonged.
And he knew it. He knew it. He knew what he was looking at. He understood what he had to do and the communication with everybody. That would be the thing. If I'm the Cleveland Browns and we sit down on Saturday or Sunday morning going, all right, do we have to give them more? Do we have to demand more of them? Do we have to give them a greater opportunity?
See, and he had to go into the preseason and play at that level to get everybody's attention. Again, some people felt like this was the quarterback he was going to be. But you can't tell me that the Browns didn't need to see this. They did need to see it. And they saw it, and now they're going to need to see more of it again, which is why the Browns quarterback room becomes maybe the most compelling room in all of football this preseason. And we wait to see if Shedeur can repeat it. Because if he plays like that again in the preseason, he's going to give them a lot more to think about, and he's going to play his way onto the field sooner rather than later.
Let's say he plays in preseason week 2 and it's with starters and against starters and he plays like that, I don't even think it's a decision.
Totally agree.
Well, look, the fans are going to want to see him, first of all. And then the second part of it is, well, I don't know, for some reason, I feel like there is this narrative. I don't know exactly how to explain it, as though this is somehow a bad thing. Like, only in the worst case scenario do we wind up with him. The best thing that can happen to an NFL team is to find your quarterback in the 5th round.
100%.
If you wind up getting your quarterback in the 5th, Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick, Russell Wilson 3rd, Tom Brady, legendary 6th, all these kinds of things. I'm not suggesting that he's going to be any of those guys. But if you can find a legitimate starting quarterback in the 5th round, that's a home run for your organization.
Take it a step further. If I'm Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, the general manager, I am reminding Shedeur and to a certain extent Dylan Gabriel every day, like, we want you to be successful, because if you're successful with 2 first-round picks next year, we could transform this organization.
Yes. All right, do I have time to play the Brady thing here, or should we push that off, Artie? You want to play it? Do you have it handy? Let's do it.